mo mọ̀ pé mi wá fọ́ba tó ní ògo ìrẹ́ látóbi jù tí yóò bá tẹ́wọ́ mọ̀ pé mo mọ̀ pé mi wá. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá fọ́ba tó ní ògo. Paríparí ọlá òfun ni kò sálòmíràn. Jésù tẹ́wọ́. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá fún ọ. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá fọ́ba tó ní ògo. Ìwọ látóbi o. Ìwọ látóbi jù. Jésù tẹ́wọ́ gbọpẹ́. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá fọ́ba tó ní ògo. Ìwọ látóbi jù. Jésù tẹ́wọ́ gbọpẹ́. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá. Àtọ́rí ẹni tí ó sùn fọ́ṣọ́. Fọ́ba tó ní ògo. Ẹlẹ́wúrú ìkẹ́. Ìwọ látóbi jù. Jésù tẹ́wọ́. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá. Fọ́ba tó ní ògo. Ìwọ látóbi jù. Ìwọ látóbi jù. Ẹni aṣelóore tí ó dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ rárá. Ìyẹn dàbí ọlọ́ṣà kó ní lẹ́rù lọ. Mo mọ núrò mo ṣe mọ́ pẹ́ mi wá fónílé ọ̀la o. Jésù tẹ́wọ́ gbọpẹ́ o. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá o. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá. Fọ́ba tó ní ògo. Ìwọ látóbi jù. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá o. Sóníbù ọ̀rẹ́ tó dá mi sí. Ìwọ lọ́lọ́gọ́. Jésù tẹ́wọ́ gbọpẹ́. Ìjọ ayọ̀ òbí Ọlọ́run. Jésù tẹ́wọ́ gbọpẹ́. Ìwọ látóbi jù. Jésù tẹ́wọ́ gbọpẹ́. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá. Fọ́ba tó ní ògo. Ìwọ látóbi jù. Ìwọ látóbi jù. Onílé ọlá o. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá fọ́lọ́run. Mo mọ̀ pé mi wá. Tẹ́wọ́ gbà ní kíkún. Jésù tẹ́wọ́. Má wo ta ìmọ̀, má wo ta ìṣedédé ṣá. Tẹ́wọ́ gbọpẹ́ o. Jésù tẹ́wọ́. Ó yá sọ̀rọ̀ wípé bàbá òun ló ń tọ́jú mi. Èdùmàrè ọba òun ló ń ṣìkẹ́ mi. Ó kọjá ọgbọ́n orí mi, èmi náà kọ́ o. Èdùmàrè ọba ló ń tọ́jú mi o. Bàbá òun ló ń tọ́jú mi. Lójoojúmọ́. Èdùmàrè ọba òun ló ń ṣìkẹ́ mi. Ó kọjá ọgbọ́n orí mi, èmi náà kọ́ o. Bàbá òun ló ń tọ́jú mi. Kíákíá. Èdùmàrè ọba òun ló ń ṣìkẹ́ mi. Ó kọjá ọpẹ́ orí mi, èmi náà kọ́ o. Èdùmàrè lọ́ba ló ń tọ́jú mi. Ó ń tọ́jú mi lójoojúmọ́. Ó kọjá ọpẹ́ orí mi. Èmi náà kọ́ o. Èdùmàrè ọba ó ní bí ẹyin jú ni mo ṣe rí lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run ọba. Ẹ̀yọ́ ẹlẹ́gẹ́ ni mi ò dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ jábọ́ fá. Ó kọjá ọgbọ́n orí mi bó ṣe ń tọ́jú mi lọ́sàn-án àti lóru. Bàbá òun ló ń tọ́jú mi. Bàbá òun ló ń tọ́jú mi. Òun ẹlẹ́gẹ́ ni mi ló ṣe ń tọ́jú mi nígbà tó lọ. Ó kọjá ọgbọ́n orí mi, èmi náà kọ́. Ó kọjá.
sọ pé èmi yóò gbọ́ kìkì Olúwa. Ìwọ ni ó dá mi nílé yẹ. Ìwọ ti kọ́ jẹ́ kí n tayọ̀ mi o. Ọkọ mi forúkọ èmi yóò gbọ́ kìkì rẹ o.
Ìyọ̀lá ọgọ́ ní fún wa.
Ọlọ́run agbára àti ìbàjẹ́ tirẹ̀. Ẹgbẹ̀rún o.
Àwọn kò tó yíyan.
Èmi yóò gbọ́ kìkì rẹ o.
Èmi ọ̀pọ̀ kìkìrẹ́ olù. Ìwọ ni ó. Nínú ìgbèkùn táyé fi mí sí òtún mi sílẹ̀. Ògo ni. Ìyọ̀lá o.
Ìyọ̀lá
Yẹ́bà.
ọgọ́ mi fún ọ.
Àwọn kò tó yíyan o. Bóyá gbogbo ayé keje ṣúgà. Áńgẹ́lì o, ẹ wọlé fún wọn. Wọ́n wọlé ọba náà. Ṣé lọ́ba táwọn ọba gbogbo ayé mú wá?
Gbogbo ayé keje ṣúgà.
Keje ṣúgà o.
Áńgẹ́lì ẹ̀wọ̀n lẹ́fún.
Ènìyàn keje ṣúgà o.
Ẹ̀mú adé ọba rẹ wá. Ṣé lọ́ba
Gbogbo ayé gbẹ̀gẹ̀.
gbogbo ayé keje.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back. Let me make sure the audio is working before I continue. All right, looks like we're good to go. What's going on, Toby and Tribe? Good to see you. He said, so sad. I know. Jum, how far? You were dancing. Uh-oh, sorry. We have to get to the business of the day so you guys can get back to your productive days. Welcome back. Welcome back. So today, yes, we're going to be covering Biola Adebayo's marriage ends after 3 years. Here's what happened. We're going to get into that, okay? But before we get into that, we have some other trendy stories that were definitely that we should touch on, okay? But welcome back. Today is what? Today is the 3rd of June. Can you believe it already? Today is the 3rd of June. Anyway, we have some business to cover. We've got a couple of stories, okay? I won't take your time, but I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the chats. I'm going to share some lessons. I'm going to share some tips. I'm going to share with you what I think is happening, the epidemics of marriages falling apart. The what do you call them? The marriages of the celebrities is a reflection of what we're all going through. So I'm going to share some tips here and there. My name is Ola, coming to you live from my Empire Pro Studios. And yes, over here we extract life and relationship lessons from trendy topics, from self-power, social seduction, attraction, emotional intelligence standpoint. You can download my books for free at manofprestige.com. We have 2 relationship books, 2 books on real estate, and 1 book on digital marketing. If those are topics of interest for you, those are free books. You can download them for free from over there. Shout out to all the sponsors. Our goal this month is $120 and change. We actually beat last month. Last month was 113, so we actually beat it. So we step it up. So your support, your donations goes along with your super chats. You can use Zelle, you can use PayPal, you can use what else? Cash App. You can see the information on the screens, and you can always pause and take them down, take a screenshot. If you want to support, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we do go live. All right, so do me a favor, Sha, hit the like button. Hit that like button. I appreciate you for being here. All right, so without any further ado, we're gonna jump right in into the first story of the day. Yeah. Oga. A lot of things are happening. Yeah, no, but I'll be right back, I'll be right back.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, so before we get into Biola Adebayo's story, this is the first story that I'm looking at today. What Wanda Franco charged? Shocking allegations rock MLB. All right, so I'm looking at these stories on this story on. I'm actually coming across it for the first time, but the first thing I saw kind of took me aback. So I wanted you guys to be in on it, so that maybe we can follow up on it later on. But it says Tampa Bay Rays shortstop Wanda Franco went to trial Monday, June 2nd, in the Dominican Republic in a sexual abuse case involving a 14-year-old girl. This guys, man, I don't know what's going on, though. I don't know what is inside of the water, but it's a lot of things going on. All this crazy news. Anyway, so it says now 24-year-old Franco was having an all-star season in 2023 before Dominican authorities began investigating allegations he had been in a relationship with a minor and paid her mother thousands of dollars for her consent. I beg, pardon my manners. Let me say hello to some of my people in the chat. Sorry about that, guys. Ice, good to see you. Uncle Patrick, sir, good to see you, sir. Natu, good to see you. And of course, Jum. Shout out to Bukola Fadikwe, good to see you. She said, I really feel bad. Oh, so sorry. She's talking about Biola, I guess. We'll get to that story in a second. Jum said, this made me feel sad. Okay, we'll get to that. Let's get through some of this quick stories first. So Wanda Franco, I just wanted to say hello before I continued. The trial was initially scheduled for December 12th, but was postponed until June. Here's what to know about the trial. Let me see if there's anything. What are the charges against Wanda Franco? Franco has been charged with sexually abusing a minor, sexually and commercial exploitation against a minor, and human trafficking. Just in case you don't know, if you flew somebody out and they happen to have collected money for sex and there's documentation to reflect that, you're now moving in the blurry lines, in the gray area of human trafficking, okay, especially if the person is a minor. So that's for you, especially you gentlemen, okay? After an investigation that lasted over a year, Judge Pascua Valenzuela of the northern province of Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, ruled in September of 2024 that the evidence presented by prosecutors was worthy of the case moving to trial. Documents that prosecutors presented to the judge in July of 2024 and were viewed by the Associated Press alleged that Franco, through his mother Yudelka Aba, transferred 1 million pesos or $17,000 to the mother of the minor on January 5, 2023 to consent to the abuse. The mother of the minor has been charged with money laundering. Did you hear that, ladies? None of us are exonerated from these stories, just so you know. It's not a gender warrior type of thing. None of us are exempted from this type of stories. All of us will be held accountable. We need to be more responsible when it comes to these things. Nothing is happening in society that hasn't been subscribed to directly or indirectly by both genders. Listen to what I just said. Nothing is happening in our society without it being subscribed to directly or indirectly by both genders. Okay, so if you make it a gender warrior thing, you're not learning any lessons. It's no wonder why you're repeating the same cycle over and over. Okay. Prosecutors say that the minor's mother went from being a bank employee to leading an ostentatious life and acquiring assets using the funds she received from Franco during raids on the house of the minor's mother. Prosecutors say they found $68,000 and $35,000 that they allege was delivered by Franco. And I quote, "I heard all they said, but I wanted to say that justice must be done," Franco told the judges on the first day. He has otherwise refused to speak to the media. Why was Franco's trial postponed? Dominican Judge Yacaira Veras postponed the trial in December at the request of prosecutors because of the absence of several key witnesses in the case. Franco's lawyers asked the court to reconsider the postponement, arguing Franco needed to report to spring training in mid-February. The judge replied that Franco is obligated to continue with the trial schedule and is conditional release from detainment. What could be his sentence if found guilty? If convicted, Franco could face up to 30 years in prison. Is Franco being held in jail? Franco has been free on supervised release, although he had been required to make monthly control visits to the judge. He was also arrested and granted another supervised release in November for illegally carrying a gun in a vehicle. The arrest followed an argument in an apartment complex parking lot. Another man and a woman also were... Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Hold on now. Okay, so Franco has been freed on supervised release. Okay. Another man and a woman also were detained in the confrontation. 2 firearms were seized, police said. All right, so he's also getting in further troubles, even outside of the... One of Franco's lawyers said because the gun has a license, there's nothing illegal about it. A conviction for illegally possessing the firearm could prompt a 3 to 5 year prison sentence. Is Franco still being paid? No. But it was for nearly a year after Dominican authorities opened their probe. Franco, who signed, listen to me, some of you that have children, sons, okay, some of you that are very quick to jump out here, that single mothers are raising good boys. This has nothing to do with single mothers. That's not the point. What I'm saying is beyond the fact that it's single mother or not. It's about parenting all around. You want to make sure that your parenting skills is top notch. You don't want to have gone through all this survival, and then you've survived, you've raised your children. They've now signed a $182 million 11-year contract with the Rays in 2021, and only to end up in this kind of trouble because they don't know what to do with themselves when they are accorded a certain level of power. Power is intoxicating. Power can come in the form of money, in the form of ability to attract other people to follow you, or attract women for young men. They don't know what to do with themselves when they are accorded a certain level of power. So it's parenting skills all around is what I'm talking about. Whatever odds you need to be in your favor is what you need to gather to be in your favor, because it could be any variable. There's so many variables that goes into parenting. It's not just if somebody is raised in a single household or not. It's not just that. That's just one factor among 20,000 other factors, right? But every one of us have one factor against us or the other. You want to identify what those threats are and make sure you mitigate them. That's all we're saying. That's all we are saying. But let me come into the chat. Let me see if you guys have something to say about this. Our days, they call it importee. Oh, that's what they call it, importee. Oh, I know. Oh my God, I'm sad. What happened, Marriott? Bale, don't worry, we'll get to the stories in a second. All right. So, but anyway, humility is going to be key in probably a good theme for today's lessons. Humility. No matter where you find yourself, there's always a blind spot. It doesn't matter how good you think you got it. You could be in a household with 2 parents. There's a blind spot somewhere. You need to do your best to make sure you're identifying them as we go. All right. Anyway, that's all I have to say about that story right there. We're going to leave that alone. I have one more story before we get into Biola Adebayo's story. And yeah, may God help all of us. So yeah, I'll be right back. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. I will be right back.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, welcome back. Cardi B's new man revealed. Fans are losing it. Are you, Marriott, are you one of those people losing it because Cardi B has a new man? Are you one of those people? Marriott, welcome. They said everybody is losing it though because Cardi B has a new man. let me ask a quick question before we continue. Is it right or wrong to start dating before you finalize a divorce? If you think it is right, put a 1 in the chat. If you think it is wrong to start dating before you finalize a divorce, put a 2 in the chat. I want to know what you guys think about this one, because honestly, there's been a lot of argument across the internet about that. Some people don't think it is okay. You should make sure you leave first and leave finally. Sign the papers before you cheat, because everything else besides that is called cheating. What size of it you fall in will depends on what gender. Usually that's what I find. Like I told you, these things are not about gender war. It's nothing happening in society without all the different 20,000 genders subscribing to it. Yep. Anyway, so I'm looking at this story on page 6.com. All right, and let me see here. It says Cardi B makes Stefan. His name is Stefan Diggs. Cardi B makes Stefan Diggs romance Instagram official with raunchy twerking video as nasty divorce from Offset rolls on. Aww, I feel for Offset. He's probably butthurt right about now. Oh Lord, oh God, oh God. Let's see. Wait.
Summer just started and Cardi B's love life is already hotter than July. But just when you thought things were heating up on the gram, Offset popped up with some chilly shade. Cardi B and NFL star Stefan Diggs made their romance Instagram official this weekend, and let's just say subtlety is not in their playbook. But while Cardi was throwing it back, Offset was tossing out shade and deleting it faster than you could say good PR. The Migos rapper tweeted and swiftly deleted this little jab about a good rollout and PR. Translation, he's not buying Cardi and Stefan's couple content, and maybe still has her IG notifications on. Then came this cryptic clip of a man literally passing on a shot, captioned, "Today I'll pass. The shade is silent but deadly." But don't worry, Stefan Diggs caught it and the ball, and apparently Cardi. The Patriots wide receiver came back with this poetic little...
All right. I don't think you guys, my audience, really cares. There's just one little small lesson that I want to extract out of this as usual. But let me first of all read this. Cardi B made a relationship with NFL star Stefan Diggs Instagram official days after slamming her ex Offset as a deadbeat dad. Okay, now Offset is asking for, I think he's asking for alimony. Problems. Is it okay for men to ask for alimony? If you think it's okay for a man to ask for alimony, put a 1 in the chat. If you think it is absolutely wrong for a man to ask for alimony, put a 2 in the chat. But that question that I asked you guys earlier on, I don't think anybody answered. Nobody answered. Let me see. Toby and Tribe said, what of those that have been separated for 20 years? Would they also stay single? We're saying they should finalize their paperwork before they continue. That's what we're asking. Now you're asking me a question back. Now, a question I ask now, Toby, I asked the question now. I don't see an issue with separated people dating. They just don't make the best partners. Okay. Let me see. Are you, unless it's a man that you don't want them to move on, of course. If it's a man that dumped a woman, then you feel differently about it, right, Marriott? Are you going to talk about the actress, or did I miss the story? No, you didn't miss the story. I'm going to in a few minutes, in about 2 or 3 minutes here. Don't they have baby? Jum said two. What was the question that I even asked? I forgot the question. Anyway, so the up rapper featured. You said you think it's not okay for a man to ask for alimony. Okay, just continue with the gender bias there. Continue. One photo showed the couple cuddled up while lounging on the deck of a yacht during their Memorial Day celebration. And Cardi B also included a raunchy video that showed her twerking on Diggs in a black thong swimsuit. The footballer player rubbed and smacked her behind in the racy footage. The Grammy winner shared additional slides featuring a bouquet of red roses and giant teddy bears, seemingly gifted. Chapter 5, hello chapter 6. She wrote in the caption, in the caption. Okay, okay. Anyway, let me see if there's more here to the story. Last Thursday, a source told the Daily Mail that the Bodak Yellow hitmaker was mad at Abu for flirting with the ladies. Girls would throw themselves on him all the time, but she wishes he wouldn't be a scumbag and flirt back, the insider claimed. The pair sparked dating rumors in February when they were seen partying in New York City. They later spent Valentine's Day together. The two made their first public appearance earlier this month. I don't have much to say to Cardi B, okay? First of all, I don't think she's listening to anybody right now. I have a lot to say to this young man, Steph. What's his name? Steph Dagon. Is that his name? Steph, what's his name again? Let me see his name. Steph. Let's just call him Steph. I have a lot to say to this young man. Stephon Diggs. I said Dagon. Steph. Rono. But he probably won't listen too. He won't listen. He won't listen. But he's having a good time. He's having a good time. But this young man, I don't know how old Steph is. Let me see if I can. Stephon Diggs, right? He's probably like 20.5 years old. Let's find out. Okay, he's 31 years old. How old is let's see how old Cardi B is. Cardi B is how old? Cardi B is 32 years old. Okay, 31 years old's mind these days are like back in the days 19-year-old. I hate to say that, but it's true. Yeah, it's true. A lot of them are very what's the word I'm looking? Immature in terms of understanding romantic relationship dynamics. Very, very young. Like much younger. Back in the days, I actually think on the normal 31 years old is kind of young, and they're still trying to figure life. If this was 20 years ago, but even much like right now, their mindset is much younger. And I know you ladies are listening, you don't know what to do with what I just said, you know. But it's probably a bad idea. Not just because she's a single mother. It's probably because however way she's conducted herself in the public, you're going to be on the receiving end of that. It's only a matter of time. It's only a matter of time. Mara said, this is not the couple I would want to be in the middle of. Not okay, but most people do it to regulate their mental health. Yes. I really don't care. It is not gendered for me. I hear you. Marriott, I don't really see your rhetoric as gendered at all for the most part. I think you're well balanced. Yeah. But this young man, a lot of young men, they're completely confused. They don't know what to do with themselves these days. They're trying to figure out these things. They don't know what to do with the lashback coming from the ladies no longer wanting to be under a man. They don't know what to do with that as well. So it's pretty confusing for them. What you will see them on the internet yelling is, I will never take that. I will never take disrespect. I will never accept a cheating woman. I will never... all the I would nevers, right? And then when you ask them and said, do you have a girlfriend right now? No, I don't have a girlfriend. No. The first question is usually, you're not married, because men are running away from women. That's the first cap that they always pull out there. They're always claiming they are running away from marriage and they're choosing not to marry anymore.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, I think it's cap, personally. Okay. And it's the same thing when a woman says, it's a matter of choice that I'm not married.
Stop the cap.
Yeah, you two stop the cap. Okay. I think the best answer to all of it is confusion.
Let the poor
breathe. Yeah, I think that's the best answer to all of it. Confusion. And but I think it's okay. You know, human beings always have a way of self-correcting. But self-correction costs a lot. It's the same thing if we're talking about a regular good old stock market. It will correct at some point. There's something we call correction. But it's not free the closer you get to individual persons or peoples or situations, the more you realize that it does cost a lot. In the grand scheme of things, at the end of the day, everybody go there all right. The world is going to be, everybody, I promise you, everybody's going to be fine. It's a guarantee. Without any further ado, we're just going to go ahead and move on into some other stories. Oh, just that one main story. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we do go live. Yes, I think it's high time we get into the main story of the day. I'll be right back.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.
All right, everybody, welcome back. So we're talking about Biola Adebayo's, her marriage ends after 3 years. Her marriage has ended after 3 years. Biola Adebayo, she has her own platform, her podcast. I've reacted to a couple of her videos here, and she's done a lot of good work with her podcast. I probably watch maybe about 10% of her podcast because some of those stories, they get too deep for me, and my life is not that serious. I like booze. I'm sorry. But yes, hit the like button. But let's talk about her. Who is she? She's an actress. She's a Nollywood actress and a producer. And she's acted in many movies. I've followed her. As a matter of fact, I think on my personal page, she actually follows me for years. Long before she became a superstar that she is today. She's a 44-year-old woman, maybe 43, 44, something like that. But she runs a platform where she actually listens to other people called Talk to B. But she posted a post today. She posted a post, and I'm just going to read it directly from Mr. Blog Niger here. Well, the caption says, "Happy birthday to my ex-husband and my baby daddy. I pray that grace will abound unto you." Now, when people are reading that today, earlier on today, that they're seeing that ex-husband part, they're seeing that probably for the first time. Like, what do you mean, ex-husband, right? No, actually, everybody is seeing it for the first time. You'll see in a second here. Let me finish reading this. Hold on. She said, "I pray you find peace in all your ways." She's praying for the ex-husband now. She said, "I pray you find peace in all your ways. May God continue light your path and bless you beyond your expectations in Jesus' name. Yes, you heard me right. My husband and I have been separated since April last year, but we have decided to maturely and peacefully co-parent our dear son, who means everything to us. To everyone that feels disappointed, I'm sincerely sorry. I wished it worked, but it's better to stay alive to tell the story." I'm sure people are like, what story? Tell us more. "Please keep us in your prayers," she says. "While I go about making other people happy in the day, my pillow is drenched with my own tears almost every night for the past 14 months. But I gain strength from Christ, who loves me eternally and gave himself for me. Let's learn to be kind to people. You have no idea what others are going through until they say it. Say unto the righteous, all is well. Peace." Okay. And just to verify, this is our actual page. You can see the full story right there, right? And that's the ex-husband. When she said ex-husband, doesn't mean they finalized the divorce. And also, what does that mean to the people that are generally the bloggers? The bloggers are not the people that call themselves bloggers. Okay, let me call them journalists. Okay, because bloggers and journalists are two different things. If it was here, they would have found it. They would have found it because they have filter alerts and they have filter search alerts at the courthouses. They would have found it and announced it for them ahead of time because to be public record when people file for divorce. But in Nigeria, all the journalists are probably too lazy to do that, or they are much more focused on politics. Anyway, she announced it herself before some of you get to it anyway. All right, so let me come to the chat. It's sad to see, but I'll tell you the reason why I wanted to cover this today. There is in fact some kind of epidemic going on. Marriages are no longer lasting as long as they did. Also, I think there's a study out there, don't quote me, but there's a study. Okay, I'm not in a space where I could pull that up right now, but an average marriage is lasting 8 years. Okay, but in the grand scheme of things, I actually think that's good news, because if we think about how many marriages are breaking up left and right, and we still have 8 years as average, considering the fact that there are millions upon millions upon millions of people, well, there's a couple of 100,000 marriages maybe in the United States alone, I think there's still hope. Also, the family is the unit of the society. It's the first space where people learn morals, where people learn structure, when people learn standards and principles that guide people's lives. You know? So, it's the first place that a child will learn how to live life, how to do this thing called life, right? And we're having that breaking apart. We have some people that are not really completely in full understanding of what that means. What it means is much more important at individual levels than it is at a society level, right? So the specific numbers I could really care less, because honestly, you only need one husband and you only need one wife, and you only need to get it right once. Okay, so that's not bad, right? So all you need to do is master how to get it right once, and then you'll be good to go. You don't need to get it right for everybody else, or to get it right for all 300 million people in the United States. You just need to get it right for you and your family. And believe it or not, it doesn't take that much. It doesn't take a lot. It takes two major factors, but we'll get to it in a second. Before I get into it in a second, let me see here. Mario says median is usually preferable in terms of numbers. Yes, I actually rock with that, right? So here's the thing. I'm looking at a comment here, right? Somebody said, person will get lucky with marriage go think say others no get sense. Did you hear that? Let's process that. I need warm water. This person is saying a person who gets lucky with marriage will think that others don't have sense. All right, I get this all the time. People will say you just happen to be lucky. All right. Now, by the way, people will look at a person like Biola Adebayo from afar. She's a very pleasant person. My wife had encounters with her in Nigeria, and she said she's actually a very pleasant person in real life, right? Now, just looking at her conduct just on screen and stuff like that, you could probably kind of read her. It doesn't mean the person is all the way a good person, but at least if we were to just guess, right? You say, oh, she's such a... Why is everybody saying this is so sad? Probably because they could relate with her and they really vibe with her. They like her. That's why Jum will say, this is so sad. Or who was the person earlier on that said, this is so sad, right? Or Toby said, this is so sad, right? That's because you're looking at her, you don't really know her, but you see her as a pleasant somebody, right? But unfortunately, life can happen to anybody. And sometimes life happens in the form of marriages. So this person is saying a person who gets lucky with marriage will think that others, they don't have sense. And then the person now ends it with a prayer. One of the ways we manipulate ourselves into the wrong sense in this life is prayers. Prayers are powerful. I love prayers. I leverage prayer myself in my personal life. But what I find is that most people that claim to be praying, they just use it to manipulate themselves into not learning anything in life. They think it's like a shortcut. And you know what the scripture says about faith without work, right? Ofo, asan lori asan, you're wasting your time. Okay? Because you're trying to say that God doesn't have sense. That's what you're trying to say. The person ended with prayer. Say prayer, pray God grants them strength to get through this. Okay. Another person says, your marriage will work. My marriage will work. Okay. At least that's word of affirmation. That's fine. Okay. And the prayer, again, like I said, prayers are powerful. But when you preamble it with a person who gets lucky, does prayer and luck go in the same sentence? Please, those of you that are, what do you call them? Jesus babies. Prayer and luck, are they in the same? Do they belong in the same sentence? Because if it's luck, there's no need to pray anymore. If it's just people are just getting lucky to have good marriages, what's the point of praying? It's useless. There's no need to pray because after all, you're not in control of it. It's luck. When I say luck, I mean Luck. For those of you that may struggle to hear my accent. Anyway, somebody said, Omo, I commend myself. Being married for 11 years now and honestly is the grace of God. Alhamdulillah. It takes so much dedication and perseverance to make it work. All right. Nice one. I can't argue with that one. Somebody said, Omo, it's well. Marriage is scary, but mine will work out in Jesus' name. All right. Majority of these people that are saying this, they mean what they said. As in, like, they really think it's luck. A lot of people, when you say prayer, when you say the word prayer or faith, their subconscious mind is thinking luck, as in like they're not in any control. Okay? I said subconscious because they're not willing to admit it usually. Okay? They're not capable of admitting that they're actually speaking about luck, as in like they're not in control of anything. Let me tell you something about this life and marriage. I always tell you, say marriage, these issues we always say about marriage. No, it's actually a life issue. It's a life issue. Okay? It's like running away from yourself. There you are every time. Your shadow is always with you, right? You're running from your own shadow, is always with you. You know, shout out to her statement, by the way, because she edified the ex-husband. And, you know, this is all announcing on his birthday. Imagine announcing to the world that your wife had dumped you or you've dumped your wife on your birthday. Think about that. I'll come back to that one if I have time. Okay, that's not very emotionally intelligent, but I'll come back to it. Okay, just imagine announcing the demise of your whole marriage on the day of your birthday. Is that supposed to put sugar inside of it, or that song inside Gary? Anyway, we'll come back to that because I really like Biola. Anyway, this person said, the person who said we should check on our over happy friends because they might be going through a lot didn't tell a single lie. Leave once it becomes unbearable. All right, so somebody said, honestly, I just want to be happy, either married or not. Like, I just want to be happy for myself by myself. Oh, God. You never see anything yet. Hold on 1 second. Let me come to the chat first of all. Maya said you are right. The timing is interesting. I'm just saying. Uncle Patrick says prayer and luck are different phases of life. Marriage requires work, just like prayer. Luck is a wish without work. Thank you, sir. But your average Christian, their subconscious mind, they think prayer, faith, and they're talking about luck. They're not in control. Okay, let me tell you something about life and marriage. I was saying, where there's a lot of things we're not in control of. That's just the honest truth. Okay, there's a lot of things that we're not in control of. That's just the reality of our life. This is not a marriage thing. It's reality of our life. Okay, you're not in control if the person right next to you at your cubicle at your job is going to be saying bad things behind your back and then ending up taking your position, and then you getting they're getting promotion faster than they're getting promotion ahead of you. They used to report to you, but they get a promotion ahead of you. And then the next thing you realize you have to report to that person. You as a proper Niger person, that was going to piss you off, right? Like, it's not a big deal. It's just a job, right? After all, it doesn't affect your paycheck. Is that how it works? No, you're going to get caught up in your feelings. It's going to piss you off, right? But they've been talking behind your back, reporting you, befriending your boss. Before you knew it, they take promotion. You're not really in control of that, right? But I'll tell you what you're in control of. You're in control of the long-term reality of your personal life. You are absolutely, you're not, it's not absolute, but you're in control of a lot of things. Okay? You're not in control of a lot of things, but you're in control of enough. And yes, you can change the course. You can change the course of direction that your life is moving right now. Either we're talking about life, we're talking about love, whatever you're talking about, parenting, all of it, you can change it. Okay? But it starts with, you have to first of all admit. You have to first of all accept that. If you're struggling to accept that, I can't help you, because you couldn't probably help yourself in the first place, you know? Hear me say, oh my God, this is coming as a surprise to me. Just joining. Hi all. Yeah, it's over. She seems lovely. Older people will get married and divorce quickly. It's surprising and sad. Are you trying to give me an angle of conversation? Marriott. It goes to tell you, let's just say like, it goes to tell you that getting older before you get married does not guarantee anything. First of all, in life, there's no guarantee anywhere, right? But it goes to tell you, like this, just getting older before you get married doesn't guarantee anything. Okay, the only thing that guarantees anything, if there's any form of guarantee at all, guarantees some level of control when it comes to marriage, is to remain a student of life, to remain a student of the phenomenon we call marriage, is to remain humble about it. The same thing is true for all of us. Okay, the same thing goes for all your coaches and counselors, and especially the bookworm therapists, especially them, because those ones, the only thing they tend to know is theory. I said theory. Okay, that's the only thing they tend to know. The moment you take them out of the books and you say, look at this situation squarely, case by case situation, you say, look at this, how would you counsel this person? They don't know what to do with themselves. Okay, so humility. Why? Because human beings is a moving target. The whole human experience thing is a moving target. So active listening is key in all of this. You cannot jump out of 1960, gentlemen, and be trying to tell us that our mothers never used. If you say things like that, it is no wonder why your wife will dump you, because you don't know how to listen. You don't know how to live in the context that you live in. You don't know how to remain a student of the context that you live in. You don't live in 1960. But yet you want to use the rules of 1960 to operate with modern women. I don't know. What are your expectations? I don't understand. Now, of course, I expect you to come back and say, well, it's the women's fault. Well, there you go. That's your cue. Well, that's the tip right there. That's your problem right there, because you're living in another era entirely. I have two things that I want to share with you before we round up today on what I know is going on across the board. Okay, remember we're talking about Biola Adebayo. She seems like a very ambitious person. Okay, she has a front-end store that she runs, a business. She's running a podcast where she also has to manage the operation of bringing on guests and things like that. I think that's also attached to some kind of charity. She's an actress, which means she has to be on set and things like that. They've been married for just 3 years, right? She seems like a very sweet lady. The young man seems like a very nice, good gentleman too. I could be wrong, but I don't see Biola getting with somebody who doesn't have sense. But what does that tell you? Just because you have sense, quote unquote, you're a good man does not guarantee it too, right? So what is it that actually guarantee? What is it that we're talking about? If it's not luck, if it's not you have to be a good guy or a good girl, what is it that guarantee? First of all, the idea that you're thinking guarantee is the wrong move. That's the wrong move, because when you think guarantee, it makes it super hard for you to even listen, because you're looking for snap your finger and just fall in the middle of a good marriage for the rest of your life. Unfortunately, it's not just marriage. There's nothing in life that exists like that. Your job does not work like that. You can get fired from your job. Your money does not work like that. All your millions of dollars can disappear overnight just because you made the wrong bet. No condition is permanent. It doesn't end with in marriage. It actually is in life. No condition is permanent. So, so the guy appears, yes, Jum, the guy appears like a good and calm man because he feels like your typical modern man. He probably will be in this internet street already dragging her too. But I don't think it's that simple. And what we find in this internet street a lot of times when you're talking about marriage is people oversimplify what the issues are. They oversimplify what the issues are. Sadly. Okay? They make it about gender war, or they make it about how women no longer respect men. Anytime I hear that, I just hear a very myopic mindset. I hear lack of critical thinking, and it's very common, by the way. So it's not anything. It's just something we have to all pay attention to. I hear lack of emotional intelligence, or you make it about men are cheating, or you make a matter. If you make, let me group all of you together right now. If you make success or lack of success in marriage about cheating, you are the same person as the person that makes it about women no longer respecting men. If you make it about chores in the house, you are the same person. Like, who is doing what? Men don't help in the house. You are the same person. You're oversimplifying something that is very complex. What is complex? Not the marriage, the persons. Human beings are complex beings. Human emotions is a complex thing. That's why if we're going to simplify anything, we try to simplify emotional intelligence for you. There are 3 steps to emotional intelligence. Master your own emotions first. That means you have to first of all, especially if you're a man, you have to first of all accept that you are just as much an emotional being, if not worse, because you've been lying to yourself and you don't know what to do with your emotions when you get caught up in your emotions, right? You first of all admit that you're an emotional being. So the first step is to master your own emotions, whatever it looks like. Okay, that's first step. Second step is whoever you're interacting with, especially if it's a romantic partner, right? If you say things like marriage is not about partnership, it's about leadership. If you say stupid stuff like that, if you're arguing between leadership and partnership, that's very stupid argument, by the way. If you're making such argument, I group all of you together, you're oversimplifying a very complex thing. What is the thing? Okay, sorry, not thing. You as a human being. Human beings are complex. Human emotions is a complex thing. So the second step is your interactions. The person on the other end, you have to always seek to understand them from an emotional standpoint. That's the second step. If you don't master your own emotions, you're going to always get it wrong when you're trying to understand another person's emotions. The third step is social intelligence. Okay? All of our interaction with respect to our society, what does that look like? You don't live in a cave. You can't say, well, I'm just going to do me. Do what works for you is one of the most stupidest things. I'm just being straight up with you guys today, okay? It's one of the stupidest things that people say on the internet. Do what works for you is one of the stupidest things that people say in our society. No one, I repeat, no one gets to do what works for them. All of us have to abide by some type of rule or the other. How do I know? Because I know you're raising children and you're also trying to teach them that there are rules to what we call life. Now, by the way, all of us, we also don't like rules to a certain level. We like to be free, right? So that's one of the things that makes it complex. We like to be free. We like certainty. At the same time, we like varieties, right? We like surprise. At the same time, we like to know what we're dealing with. Just tell me everything up front. And then to different grades, right? Some people are obsessed with security. Just tell me. Don't surprise me. Some people are obsessed with variety. If they get bored, they will dump you. And everything in between. Right? So, if you master those things, if you don't have the ability to active listening abilities, you're probably going to struggle with those things. Okay. I think he's a good man. I could be wrong. Just what I'm guessing. Good men are actually worse at this because they're always thinking, I did everything right. Same thing will go for Biola. I did everything right. I was the quote unquote the feminine. There's a lot of men, especially on TikTok, they are fantasizing about another person's wife who they think is more feminine than the person they are attracting. They're not realizing that your masculine energy is what brings out the feminine energy in another person. If they don't feel safe and secure around you, they will protect themselves. You know what that looks like? Masculine. That doesn't mean there are not people that are, by nature of their group of people, they tend to be more masculine. But again, if you keep attracting them, then you got to look at yourself. What is it about you that doesn't make this person feel safe and secure? No, honestly, it's actually for your own good. It's not blaming you. It's for your own good to look at it that way, right? So there's a lot of them on the internet. You see them everywhere. I will never do this. I will never accept that. This is all that nonsense talk. You don't know what you will ever do until you find yourself in the situation. Okay? So I think people are collecting shaggy left and right, and people are fearful. I suspect that she's a career woman. So because she's everywhere. She's moving. She's in cars. She's helping. And the guy probably got married and said, but you're a wife now. I want you to settle at home. And she's like, but you met me like this. I'm a 40-year-old woman. If she's 43 now, that means they got married at 39, 40. And he probably attempted to change her, and it's causing arguments, and it's probably much more confusing because after all, they are good people. How come just being good person is not enough? How come? Why come it's just not enough to be a good person? Ouch. I think good people actually have it worse because at least the ones that are bad guys, the ones that say serial cheater, you already know what you're dealing with, right? So your expectations are pretty much under control. That's why I say manage your expectations. But good people, they struggle. They struggle. So if a person have unrealistic expectations, if she's an actress, she's a business owner, she's running a podcast, she's always out there on set, and she's a good girl, and then they end up in an argument, and the guy is suddenly super surprised. He's a good guy, Efiko. He was the guy who was a bookworm. He's always quiet and in the place, and he tried to do the right thing. He feeds his family. All he wants, there's just one simple thing he wants. Sit your ass in the house as a wife, right? Whose expectations is off in that situation? That will be his expectation, right? So, but where does pride and ego comes into this? Where does pride and ego come? If we have a small argument, who's going to beg first? Who is going to say, you know what? Let me listen carefully. Who is going to say, you know what? Let me talk to someone. I think I might get some insights. It can be the end of the world. There's something we can figure out here. And no, it's not just prayer. Prayer can help, but prayer plus work. Who is the person that needs to at least lead, right? It's whoever is complaining. No, I always say whoever is complaining, but I prefer it as the man. I think it's much more sustainable when the man is able to have some self-awareness, some emotional self-control, some emotional intelligence. I think it's super duper much more sustainable because, you know why? Because if he brings that to the table, a good woman will multiply it. So it's like mama spread me. It's just super stable. If a man knows that it is in his best interest to bring all of that and more to the table because it multiplies. That's what I suspect. It's just a suspicion. More importantly, beyond Biola and this young man, that's what's going on for the most part in most of these marriages that are crumble. It's not a matter of somebody's a bad person. Okay, when was the last time you went to a courthouse? When was the last time you saw a bad person that they had to use a gun to stay with them at the courthouse? No, they're all good people. They just have coconut head. Okay, they have coconut head. That's all. Anyway, I'm gonna leave this here today. We're at the top of the hour. If you guys want me to do like a part 2 where you can call in, no more calling in today, by the way. If you want me to do that, you can request for it in the backstage and we can get into it and we can see about that. But I like to keep this thing simple these days. Let me read some comments and then we'll leave from there. No, I'll take 5 minutes. If you want to call in to have a comment on this, I'll take 5 minutes. Jum Beyond Beauty, please go and support Beyond Beauty so that she can come back to our channel and start doing content again. Please help our destiny. Please. Beyond Beauty says, where's a place for compromise for peace? It's active listening. It starts there. It starts there because you know why? Because it depends on the specific stories, the mini stories and all the stories that's happening on a day-to-day basis in that interaction. That's what it depends on. And we're not going to find that out until we really engage the skills of active listening. It's going to be tough. I am always wary, Toby and Tribe says, I'm always wary of getting with someone with a different temperament. In her interview, she described him as the more fiery type and herself as more withdrawn when angry. How a couple fight also matter. See? If he's fiery, if he's talking at the top. By the way, most of us would never see it in the public. It's only hard that we experience what that looks like in the worst case scenario. And so you find a lot of people will say, it's not like that. You lied against him. The mother might say you're lying against him, but you're the only one, the person who is married to the person who knows what they look like in the worst case scenario. It's definitely not that simple. Yes, MOP, the guy appears like a good and calm guy. Yep. All of that disappears when a person is caught up in their emotions. They're arguing with a lover that they also used to have sex with. All of that will disappear. It looks nasty. It's not always fun. So what happened to them? You best believe that it's probably best for them to separate, at least for now. By the way, you know what else is not guaranteed? It's not guaranteed that they will stay apart for the rest of their lives. Right? So saw her on the bus many years ago before she became very famous. She seemed friendly enough. She waited a long time after the first one failed before getting into the second one, only for it to fail again. There's a pattern, but we can't really call it a pattern until I see a third point. But who wants to be marrying a third time to see if it's a pattern, right? Nobody wants that, right? Yes. So it is what it is. We don't know. Maybe by the end of the day, I will catch a little bit more. This just happens to be a breaking news today. Maybe by the end of the day, we'll catch a little bit more of her story. I'm seeing that for the first time, that she actually used to be married before. I wouldn't exactly be surprised because at the age of 40, it's highly likely you've been married before, right? Highly likely. If you've been divorced before, highly likely you will divorce again. The studies actually show 60 to 75% chances of divorce for second and third marriages. And my guess is because your shadow follows you everywhere you go. You know, one of the easiest things for us to do is to point fingers when we end up in this kind of situations, where there's always 4 of those fingers pointing at us. This is true. But at what point do you hold people accountable for their wrongdoing? Speaking of coconut head, at what point do you hold people accountable for the wrong that they did to you? I can see the veins of the neck. But just calm down. Marriage is not a do or die. It's not. All I ask you to do is to be accountable to yourself. What? How did you participate? Okay, even if it's as simple as entering the wrong marriage, can you at least tell me something that you can hold yourself accountable for? Can you try? Just try it. Just try it. Just a little bit, right? Self-accountability is your best weapon. It's your best point of leverage. It is not the same thing as blame. Blame and guilt will work against you to make you feel sad. You won't be able to think straight. You will resent yourself and everything around you if you use blame, shaming, and guilt. That is not the same thing as self-accountability. Self-accountability is much more so about what are you going to learn. If you get number 3 and 4 wrong on the screen, 1 and 2 will be wrong. Could it work? Friendship and sex cannot work if you're operating from a place of coconut head and unrealistic, unmanaged expectations. Could it work? It just won't work. It's just what it is. Okay. This has nothing to do with your good, bad. If you married a bad person, a completely bad, terrible person, if you have to make it about whose fault is it, guess whose fault is it? Yours. I didn't say it's anybody's fault. Oh. Now I brought it up because I know you're probably going to bring it up. Right? But you want to look at it from a standpoint of what is the one thing? What is the one issue in that moment in time? There are so many issues. What is the worst of them? The one that is your major bone of contention. What is that one thing? You need to hold yourself accountable to finding an answer to that question, to finding a solution to that problem, without making it about persons. See, the dynamic we create when you come together with another person to do life, no be here. It's not something that somebody can sit on the internet, somebody that never had a girlfriend before and be saying, I will never accept, I will never, you're running your mouth. And sadly, a lot of 60-year-old men, yes, are being mentored by men that have no experience on the internet. Guess what? Sadly, a lot of 53, 57-year-old women are being mentored by young 27-year-old women who are speaking completely different languages, but they find that one place where they can relate with their pain, and they now think they can cast over everything. Unfortunately, life doesn't work like that. I didn't say marriage. Life doesn't work like that. These issues are case by case by case. Not just case by case as in like you are a case. No, I'm talking about what happened yesterday. It's different from the case of what happened today. If you keep connecting all the issues together, that's one of the issues that you, mostly women, go through. When something happens today, you bring up issues from 3 years ago. You have not healed. You didn't do the necessary work. So you struggle, right? Because the person is also receiving that as gaslighting. Wait, but I didn't gaslight you. You don't have to admit to gaslighting people before it actually is gaslighting. Okay? So if they don't know what they're doing too, probably just like you, because there's a reason why they're married to you, is confusion. That's all I have for this topic. Hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Let's get back to work. Oh, we have work to do. If you got some lessons from this today, please do let me know in the chat. Let me know what you want us to spend some more time on, and I will try my best to bring him back. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Girl, it's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Make love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One loving up, we done enough.